them loud all the time.
Okay, which one are we?
What do you want to do?
Which one are we doing today?
Let's do the. Did we do random questions last night?
Oh, you want to do that?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome, Nearly Normies. Thanks for joining us.
We're back yet again.
Yes, today we have some random questions we're going to ask each other, so you'll find out some fun facts about us that you didn't want to know, always wanted to know, or somewhere in between.
Oh, Kate got us these sweatshirts, by the way.
I should have worn mine.
They're so adorable. I'm going to represent. It's got our name. It's really cute. So.
I'll wear mine next time.
Yeah.
But merch is coming. Okay. What is your emotional weather forecast today?
I heard Steal My Sunshine on the way here. You know that
Len?
song?
Yes. I had the album.
I feel like I was living in that song today. Yeah.
Oh.
That song hit me like you would not believe. So I'm going to say forecast is sunny, but people might be like stepping in for my shade and I'm not appreciating it. But yeah,
Okay.
like, sometimes when your mood is like stable, because that's all we're ever shooting for is just
do it
stable.
I like that you said, do you know when?
Do you know when?
And I'm like trying to recollect
because it's so infrequent. Seriously. But when you get that like stable day,
yeah,
and then someone shits on it,
I know.
You're like, dude, you don't know how hard it is to get this day. Like this particular day. And so yeah, so Steal My Sunshine is my like theme song for the day right now.
Okay. My emotional weather forecast is what it's been. Muggy, soupy, torrential downpour, hail, maybe a tornado, rain, and thunder.
You have everything that is like a forecaster's nightmare.
Yes, right now.
Threat of a tornado is what I love the most. That's
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're just keeping it real. My life is like, just hanging by a thread these days.
Nearly
normal. Not even. But, we'll be honest and not,
not be fake.
Okay. If your inner child had the mic, what would she say?
She agrees with our workout routine. I know that, right?
Oh,
because she had some very big worries about our future self. We love some candy. We live for Twizzlers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh my God.
Fun fact. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody should have red dye banned more than me because it is an unhealthy amount of red dye going on in my household and in this body. So she is probably excited that we listened to all the anxiety about like, are you going to eat so much sugar that you are going to be extremely unhealthy? And I'm not necessarily sure that I am not unhealthy with sugar, but she likes the workout routine. She probably never figured out that we needed to do the workout routine for the mental health and not for the physical.
So that's new for her.
She would be a little bit perplexed. She had less anxiety than future her had. So the anxiety of teenage me was like what to wear, who's going to be somewhere, somebody talking about me, all that inconsequential like middle school.
I have a story about what to wear.
Okay. Ooh.
This is the level.
Oh no.
I had a little date.
I get anxiety about not wearing the right thing.
So I had a little date book that most people put their activities.
Do you put your outfits?
I would write down my outfits, and then I could tell how long has it been since I wore said outfit. And that only 3 weeks had to go by before a repeat was permitted.
I feel that in my soul. I had the same thing. It was a notebook. And you wrote down all the things that the day of the week and what you wore.
Yeah.
I couldn't even mix and match if I wore that shirt last week.
Oh, hell no. No. It had to be almost a month. I think that was like my limit was like it had to be a month.
If you tell that story to a guy, he would think that's the most ridiculous thing they've ever heard of. And now, adult me finds that ridiculous as well. I stress about what to wear on a whole different level. Like, I have the anxiety where you go to a party and you get ready and you're like, I don't really care what I'm going to wear. Like, I'm going to wear what I want. Then you get there and you're like, I wore the wrong thing. Everyone else has something fancier on, or they're more casual. I wore this. So that I have that anxiety. But back then it was like you couldn't be seen in the same things.
Oh, no.
Nowadays, you'll see us in the same yoga pants, like 15 days in a row.
My, how the tide would turn.
What would younger you say?
Younger me would be like, who's that bad bitch?
Nice.
Yeah, I think she'd be that impressed. She'd be like, we finally have a voice. We're finally saying things now that like the tap is open. It doesn't stop.
Nice.
And she would be like, people listen to us. That's cool.
Yep.
Like
11 people.
yes, yes. You have funny shit to say. You have cool things to say.
Nice. I love her.
Yeah,
She is
would
hyping
be
you
hype.
up.
She'd be very hype.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. Good
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah. She'd be into it. Okay. This is, I mean, a little bit similar to emotional weather forecast, but scale of everything is fine to burn that shit down. Where are you at?
Oh, I always lean more towards burn the shit down.
Yeah, I'm at burn the
Yeah.
shit down.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Burn the shit
Yeah.
down.
And if we're not burning it down, we're probably like hammering away at the studs, like actively a part of it, you know, because sometimes it's just when things are just going awry, sometimes you just want to abandon ship. It's just this natural, you know, that fight or flight is real. And sometimes
The ship is burning.
sometimes the
You
flight is
just
like,
Just gotta jump
just
off
go.
the side.
Let's just go.
Like this shit, just let it sink.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Like a fresh start. Like the tornado comes through and you like a fresh start. You're just
I love
like,
a
let's
fresh
rebuild
start.
this shit because I don't know.
I want a fresh start. Ooh, emotional support item this week.
That's a good one.
It is.
I'm loving my sweatshirt.
I love your sweatshirt too.
But I don't. But I just put it on today. So, you know, this week, I had like a little dry spout of reading, and I've picked it back up again this weekend. The weather was nice, so I grabbed a book and I was like, here we go. And that for me is escapism at its best.
Same.
Right? I pick books that like are a totally different world than I live in, so I can't have anything to say about it. I can't identify with it like too much. Just takes me to another place. So I would say that is my emotional support this week. Is like I found, and sometimes it takes me forever to find a good book. I don't know about you, but like I have to read a couple pages. It's got to get me in the first chapter, or I'm out. So that for me, definitely emotional support.
I have like a weird nighttime routine.
Yeah.
I guess it's not weird, but I do like kind of a series of things. There's a lot of like steps to this routine.
Okay.
There's like face washing, but that one sometimes I can skip depending on my mood because I'm just angry about it. But the thing I do every night is I put on this like spray from Lush, and it's called Sticky Dates, and that shit is expensive. It's like $40.
Oh, girl!
But it's
You bougie.
and I spray it on, and I just revel in the like delicious bakery like smell that it is. And then if my dog is there, then I'm like, and then she smells like it, and we just cuddle together.
So
she gets
it's
kicked out.
spray plus the dog. I love it.
Yeah, but every time, so she doesn't sleep in the room because I say no, because otherwise, even if you take off her, I'm like, she does little bojangles. I can't. It's like, oh, we'll take off the collar. I'm like, no. Then she's scratching. No, I can't do it. But every night, it's time for her to go. We open the door. Good night. She walks out. She looks back.
Oh,
like this.
the side
Every
glance.
night. No, not even. Turns all the way around. Looks back at you. Like, really? You have another chance here.
Really?
Is this situation?
You want to miss this?
I'm like, go on with your little smell, your little spray. Good night. That's my emotional support.
Okay, love it. I think most people would say, like, you know, animals are such a huge emotional support. Like, oh my God, anything that, like, and I mean, that is the true unconditional love, right? Because you don't speak the same language. You can't, like, they just love to see you. They're never unhappy seeing you. Like, it's the best. And they read your emotions like no other. They're great.
Irrational grudge. Things that make you irrationally angry. Everything?
I mean, like, so seriously, I'm going through the list right now. It's not as if I have nothing. It's as if I'm like, what's the appropriate thing?
Mine is like dawdlers.
No.
I don't know if that's from living in New York. You know when they say, like, if you travel to a new city, walk like you know where you're going.
I have issues with that whole statement.
Yeah. Well, if you're from New York, that's just your baseline how you walk. Even if you have no fucking clue where you're going, you're always walking like with a sense of immediacy. And so that is just my natural walk.
Okay.
So people that are like, is it here? Do we walking all over the road? Even when I go running, kids that are, you know, the little scooters, no one's paying attention to them, taking up the whole road, bikers that pass you, all kinds of stuff. So people that are just that have no spatial awareness whatsoever, as if they are the only human existing in that space in that moment. Like, not a care that there may be other people around drives me bananas. Bananas. Can't take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in a totally different direction with mine. Mine is, right now in my life, dinners.
Oh, hate dinners.
Everybody just has to keep eating. And I get it. I got to eat too. I just hate the responsibility
it's the
of
worst.
7 nights of what should we have? What are we going to have?
The most dreaded.
Take something out.
The most dreaded question. Do you know what we're having for dinner? You're like, it's 1 o'clock. It's 1 p.m.
And this is how I have circumvented around that with, a house full of people, because
you do a good job with that.
I try. So I decided years ago that I was going to come up with a menu each week, because my kids now are old enough to, at the time when I did it, were old enough to at least make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm not going to make 2 meals. I don't make separate meals for everybody. That's not the case. So I make 1 meal. And then if you don't like it, I will not force you to eat a meal that you've tried and don't like, but you would have to go make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and then sit with us and eat. So once the kids were old enough to do that, I was like, I'm going to put the menu up every week, because I have to make the grocery list anyway, the whole thing. So we know what we're having. Let's put it up. But like, even that every week. Like, okay,
when I come to your house and see that, I'm always like, you living in like 2035. I'm over here like, what's in the freezer you can microwave?
Seriously, I know. And like, it's fine in terms of like, it keeps us like on schedule and organized, but just the thought of it, like, just so case in point, I know what we're having for dinner tonight.
What are you?
But I still have to cook
dinner?
it. We're having like chicken, like the breaded chicken strips, and we're gonna put sauce and cheese. So we're gonna have like makeshift chicken parm with some pasta.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's easy. Like, it's already breaded in the freezer. It's nothing.
Have you ever made Parmesaurus Rex?
What is Parmesaurus Rex?
You get the dino nuggets.
I love the dino nuggets. I live for the dino nuggets.
You do it with the dino nuggets and you call it Parmesaurus Rex.
I love that, and I feel like we should do that this weekend. You should come over. But another irrational thing off of the dinosaur nuggets is, why the box got to be so big? Why does the box have to be that big for dinosaur nuggets? Because it doesn't fit in your freezer, which means you have to take the bag out, and then somebody opens the bag. Right, and then someone opens the bag, and it's freezer burn, or my kids didn't close the bag appropriately enough, and so there's some random nuggets all over the freezer when you open it up. Like, why the box got to be like that? There's no need. Yeah, those are irrational things that, I mean, we could do a whole.
That's why I started doing like meal delivery things.
Yeah, so who do you use for that?
So I've used Green Chef, and then because I'm vegetarian, I do Purple Carrot, which is actually vegan. They just sometimes with some of them, if it's not entirely vegetarian or vegan, you get like repeats because there's like only so many.
Okay.
But because Purple Carrot only does vegan, like that's all they offer. There's like a really decent variety.
Okay.
So I call that like buying back my bandwidth of like, I don't want to think about having to go to the grocery store. I don't want to, like, I don't have time, quite frankly, to do that. And I don't want to think about the meal. And with me, it's harder. You can't just like, I'm going to have a protein and a side of this. No, you're not. So it just, the amount, it is the best money I've ever spent.
Ooh.
Like, it's the best self-care thing. I used
ringing endorsement.
Yeah, I used to only do, I would do it like in January, February, March. And this year, I'm still doing it. You can skip weeks.
Nice.
Great. So Purple Carrot.
She's giving you a shout out. Come on.
Yes. Love you. You're great. Okay, let's see. What did you overanalyze this week besides dinner?
Yeah, right. Besides dinner. Let's see. I would say, so this is more client based. Like, so we've talked before about, there is just this part of you that worries about people. This job kind of makes you worry about people, which we're okay with. Compassion and empathy is like a big part of the job. But I have one particular person this week, and we had a conversation, and the conversation was great. The session was great. There was just something a little off about it. And I went over and over and over and over it in my mind. Yes. Ooh. So I ended up following up because
I've done that too. Have you sent like an email and been
like,
hey, just wanted to circle back?
I did. Yeah. I just couldn't. I just felt, and sure enough, there was a little something there that we were able to talk about. But yeah, like, so I overanalyzed, and in that sense, it was a good
thing
replay of it. But for those people that can identify with doing that, it's exhausting, because if it was not a client situation that I could follow back up on, if it was like a social situation where you're like, I think that person, didn't talk to me and they weren't really as open as they used to be, and you're thinking and thinking and replaying everything, that can be just exhausting, as we've talked about with anxiety and such. But this one I was able to kind of overanalyze, and have an action plan for, which was good. But yeah, it's frustrating. Something gets in your head and it's so hard to get it out sometimes. But this one was client based, so
yeah, I think. Let me think. This week, it's been a long week.
You've had a
It's
shit
only
show.
it's only been a Wednesday. I don't know. Well, I guess so. So, my dad was in the hospital, and it was a very stressful time over the weekend. And the doctors are there, and my dad is not a frequent being in the hospital person. However, when he does go to the hospital, he tends to underplay things. So, there was like years ago, he went. It was like knee pain, and they were like, "We're just going to send you home." And he had arrived by ambulance, and I was like, "No, you're not. He can't manage his pain at home." Well, you'll get an MRI. And I was like, no. So they did the MRI. It actually wasn't his knee. He had a herniated disc, and we had to call a neurosurgeon in to do surgery on his back. So a history of like having to advocate for this man. And so when he was in the hospital, they kept kind of like dancing around, like, I don't know what caused this, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to like air my dad's medical history here. But I kept saying, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it is. And everyone kind of looked at me and they're like, I don't think it's that. They would accept that. Final diagnosis, what I said.
You should have been like, let me show you ChatGPT's answer for this, because it agrees with me.
So it's that like, and then I'm like second guessing like how, intense I get, which is very intense. And then it ended up when I saw that, I was like, no. Like, I'm not second guessing myself, but I kept kind of going back and forth. My medical degree is from Google, so which doesn't really like hold a lot of weight.
Some doctors just don't take that into account.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I don't have visiting rights at the hospital. They don't recognize Google MD. But yeah, that one I kind of go back and forth, and it's that old like narrative of like too much, which is a big narrative. That's why younger me would be like, oh, we're so happy now that you're loud and you're kind of out there, because it was always like, you're too much, be small, be less than, be smaller than whatever you're doing.
Yes, which we've talked about before. We don't like that.
So that was my overanalyze of the week.
Okay.
And yeah, I worry about it.
Of course.
Yeah.
And to your point too, I think sometimes it's okay to have strong feelings about something and just ask somebody, could you just prove me wrong? And not in an aggressive way, not in a confrontational way. Like even with doctors, when you're advocating for yourself, I tell clients all the time, own your anxiety about something and ask a provider to help decrease your anxiety by can you just prove that this is not an issue, right? We call it ruling out when we're diagnosing things, like in clinical world. We'll have a couple things that we think somebody might be suffering from, and we will, back in the day, we would do the R/O and next to all of our diagnoses, and you would have to list out all of the things that you were trying to rule out and basically prove or disprove. And I think that's fair. I think when you think you have something and you think somebody might make fun of it, or a doctor might think you're Googling it too much, they're like, look, it's just really making me anxious. If you could just prove I don't have it, or show me why this is not a diagnosis for me, it's fair. Because a lot of times we have found clients were right about what they thought was wrong.
Yeah, and that's what it was. The one doctor came in and he's explaining, these things are provoked by blah, 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 blah. And I just looked right at him and I said, I thought it was, I said, does this provoke that? He goes, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. And there was chatter in the room. Like, well, they haven't said it was that yet. And I was like, it is. So if you need someone to medically advocate for you,
she's here.
I'm volunteering. Okay. Unhelpful coping strategies you just won't quit on.
Unhealthy coping strategies. Well, we've talked about overanalyzing, which is definitely a huge one that is not helpful in many.
Do you want me to go first? Because I got one like,
oh my God, go.
Well, we just talked about it earlier. So I intellectualize.
Okay.
but I do it to a degree that is unhelpful. Like I will, and part of it's our job, right? You'll look at other people's behavior in your personal
Yes.
life and you'll go, I know exactly why they're doing this. I
Right.
know exactly the root
Mhm.
cause. I know where this is coming from. I understand the behavior.
Mhm.
And you intellectualize it and intellectualize it. And you, so for me, when there's a lot of big feelings, my default is to, instead of feel them, is understand them.
Okay.
And so if I convince myself that I understand them, then I will proceed to feeling it. When
Okay.
really what's being asked of me in the beginning is to sit with it and make space for it.
Mhm.
And I immediately engage in trying to understand and make sense of
Okay.
it in some kind of way.
Okay.
And so that can be really helpful at work. It is absolutely not helpful in my personal life. Like I spent my entire last therapy session. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if my therapist listens to this, but if she does, I love you. You're great.
And BR12.
Yeah. I spent the entire session intellectualizing, and I realized it when I left. And I actually kind of want to send her an email.
You want to circle back?
Hey, yeah, I want to circle back and be like, I just want to let you know. In hindsight, I recognize what I did there. But you know what I love about her is she gives me the space. Sometimes I just need to say all of these things that I'm not going to then go and say to whomever I decided.
Exactly.
You need to, let me tell you about you.
Yes.
Let me tell you about yourself.
Mhm.
So I can say it in therapy to her, and she
Yes.
lets me, and that's lovely. But yeah, that's my toxic trait is
Okay.
like intellectualizing.
Okay. Mine would be then, in the same way you just described that, mine would be like, we used the word tornado already, and I'm going to use it again. Like, I come in like a tornado. Like, I'm going to be the fixer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to be the fixer.
Yep.
And like, no problem is too big or too small. We've got this. We can fix it. Again, necessary in our job, right? Always going to jump in the mud with you and be like, we can get out of this. Let's come up
Here's
with
a
plan.
solution.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's very similar
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
It's oddly enough, you have two therapists sitting here telling you we have a really hard time
Mhm.
feeling our feelings.
Yeah. 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 Uh-huh.
We do everything to avoid them.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Because I will like, but it's almost like it's like a skip over. Like,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
you come in and you're like, if you're in my kitchen, we got you. Like, whatever is happening in your life, we're gonna fix it by the end of that coffee, water, lemonade, whatever we're having. But to your point, it's like, but it just sucks. Like, it just sucks. Let's just let it suck.
Let's just be in the suck.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think we're good at letting whoever it is
Yes.
feel that it sucks.
Yes.
But in my mind, I'm like, I hear you. It sucks. How are we going to help you?
What's next? What's our actionable
What's the
step?
action plan?
Yes.
How are we going to do this? Yeah. So that would absolutely be it.
Okay. We've got time for one more.
Okay.
What does your emotional bumper sticker say this week?
Approach with caution. Approach with caution.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, and I just feel like collectively, at least like the people that I talk to on a daily, everybody just feels a little bit intense right now, right? Like, no matter what's going on in your life, you just feel a little intense about everything, work, finances, kids, families, whatever. And so I think everyone's kind of like, come into my space, but like, what are you bringing into my space, right? Like, approach with caution, be careful. So yeah, I think that would be my bumper sticker. Is like, approach with caution. Yeah.
You know the bumper sticker that says baby on board?
Yeah.
Mine says emotional dumpster fire on board. That's what mine says this week. So that everyone's aware. It's very similar to approach with thought. Like,
right?
What do you want to do with this car? I just told you what's inside. Right? Do you really
enter on your
look at me? Do you want to flip me off? It's a choice you're making, but I'm just, if you didn't, I told you.
Right.
Emotional dumpster fire is on board.
And think about that when you are honking at people. Like, I tell my kids this all the time because they're drivers now, and I'm always like, you honk for two reasons. You're about to hit somebody, right? Or someone's about to back into your car. Like, damage. That should only be the reason that you honk that car, because you are going to freak the person in front of you out, or you're going to tick the person in front of you out.
Wait, there's a third reason.
What's a third reason?
When the light's green and they haven't, like, you can tell they haven't taken, you have two short ones, toot toot, and I do that It's the two short ones.
Toot, toot.
Toot, toot. And then the person is always like, "Oh, thank you."
Yes. Yeah.
Like if I'm not paying attention, don't lay. If you lay the horn on,
Oh my God.
no.
And
A short toot toot.
so we were last night. We're driving somewhere in like the torrential downpour, and there's a car in front of me, then me, and then a car behind us, a big old truck behind us. Well, the big old truck behind us is laying on its horn for the car in front of me, and the car in front of me can't see the truck behind me because the Jeep is high, and I think the person in front of me thinks it's me honking at the.
So did you have to interpret the
there
whole
like,
honk
Not me.
and like
not
do
me.
the honk follow through? Like,
I
well, now I have to.
No, I didn't
No?
honk, but
Okay.
he was. I mean, laying on that horn like obnoxiously so. And it was bad weather, and this person. And I always say, could be a young driver, could be an older driver. You're freaking the people out.
Yeah.
Only the toot toot.
Toot toot. Two short ones. So there's only three.
And it better be justified.
You're gonna hit someone's gonna hit you,
Right.
or the
You can
short
sit
toot
at that
toot.
light for like 2 minutes.
Yes. All right, so that's this week's random questions. If you have any you would like us to answer, we absolutely will. So please feel free to send them in. Carrier pigeon, email, online. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Nearly Normal Podcasts.
Find us anywhere.
Thanks, Nearly Normies. Until next time.